and welcome to the Needham Council for Arts and Culture, September 21st, Tuesday, 2021 meeting. Yay! I'm Charlie Nanda, and we have our co-chair, Bala.
Bala, nice to meet you again. Good to see you.
We're just gonna start the agenda with a little introduction that's really exciting. So bear with us, and then we'll say hi to everybody. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to confirm that all council members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. So I'll go with Sharon Breitbart.
Here.
Elizabeth Cook.
Here.
Julia Gould.
Here.
Samantha Hoff. Not yet. Gayle Lustig.
Here.
Anne McCaffrey.
Oh,
there she, that was perfect timing. And I just said your name and you showed up amazingly.
Sorry, I was a couple minutes late.
We're so exciting. That was awesome. Hi, we're so excited. Good to see you, Anne.
Good to see you guys.
Very nice to see you. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, you're healing up. We're happy to have you healthy and at the meeting. Yay. Yes. Okay, let's see. We've got one more person. Betsy and Joni are going to be absent. Charlie Nanda, I'm here, Bala's here, and Heather Simmons is probably on her way. And we have a special guest today. Valerie, will you pronounce your last name for us? I'm so glad you RSVP'd and said hello.
Hi, yeah, Valerie Mayo,
Hi,
M-A-I-O.
Yay, thanks for coming, Valerie. And we have Jessica Banks from the Needham channel. We'll wave to her because I don't see her. And if anybody else shows up, we'll just move them on in to say hello at this special meeting. So I do need to cover a couple ground rules and read this. Open meeting of the Needham Council for Arts and Culture is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. And as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical place. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting may or may not feature public comment. Okay, so let's see. Make sure you're muted when you're not speaking, and raise your hand or wave, raise the little hand button if you want to speak, and let's see. Make sure you're not sharing your screen or there's anything in your background, because this meeting is being recorded and posted on YouTube for posterity, and Julia will use everything we say in our minutes, so speak clearly if you can and slower than I just did. So hi everybody, yay, it's so good to see you all. I already did the roll call, it sounds like. We've got Heather Simmons, who looks like she joined us. So I'm gonna hand this evening over to Gayle Lustig for the beginning. She's gonna give us a little, the first thing on our agenda, a special grants information open house and Q&A, and then we're gonna have a short meeting afterwards that our special attendees like Valerie and Jessica and anybody else who joins in later can take off, or you can enjoy the magical splendor of what is a Needham Council for Arts and Culture meeting, which are very entertaining. And it looks like John Lechner just joined us, so that was perfect timing too. So those are our 3 RSVPs. We knew it was going to be small and cozy, and we're so glad you're here so we can answer your questions directly. Take it away, Gayle.
So Amy, can you allow me to share my screen?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't introduce Amy. Sorry, Gayle. Should we introduce Amy?
No worries.
So, Amy is our liaison and all doer of good things and helper of all things for the Needham Culture
and your title is
Culture and Art, and she is our liaison to the town.
Yeah.
So, but she also has what's your official title, Amy?
I'm the Economic Development Manager for the town of Needham.
Thank you. But she also runs our meetings and helps us out with everything. So before I share my screen, just welcome to our guests. And some of you have applied for grants before, some of you haven't. And this is not going to be the Gayle Lustig show, so we have lots of members of the council here to answer questions and thoughts. So I just want to talk a little bit about the grant program, and then we'd like to open the floor to questions, and anybody can answer the questions. It's not all me. So I will share my screen. So this is our for those of us on the council who have not gone here, I just went here today. This is our page on the new Mass Cultural Council site where the grant applications are. This has a lot of information about us and the open house. Thank you, Charlie, for getting this out there. And so we have grants, and we actually, oh, it didn't have them. Oh, there it is. So we actually have our allocation already. So each year, the Mass Cultural Council gives each of the local councils money to disperse. We take all the grants under consideration, and we decide as a council who fits our criteria and how much we can afford to give them. We do generally like to spread it out to different people. And as this said, it's generally from 150 more to like 500 than 750. And we use this particular criteria. It does not have to be an event. We support all local arts and culture, which is why we changed our name last year to better reflect what we do. And these are not in order, that's what I thought. So these are our priorities, but not in any order. So Needham-based individuals, underserved or in need groups, diverse voices. Those are in tandem with the town of Needham's goal to celebrate diversity. And we want to make sure that the council reflects that as well. Also programs that benefit the community, or art or other projects that benefit the community. It doesn't have to be a particular event on a particular day. And also this one is new just during the pandemic, is applicants that are suffering because of the economic impact of COVID-19. So I really, and this is actually on the web. I tried to chat, but I realized, Amy, I don't have the ability to chat and share this link. But we did share this link in the email that you've gotten. And I think it's on our Facebook page as well, right, Charlie? This page.
There is a link to the website, but I just found this beautiful local council / Needham link today. It's just posted. It's a brand new.
So we will put it on the Facebook page. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. I just wanted to go over our priorities and hear a little bit about what our guests are interested in, what questions you might have about the grants themselves, the application, the grant process, or just tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are. So why don't we start with, where's Valerie? Valerie.
Okay, hi. So
not to put you on the spot. Don't worry about
that's
it.
Okay.
We're a friendly bunch.
I don't mind. Well, if just to know about me, I'm a Needham resident for whatever, 12, 13 years. I've had 3 kids in the schools. I professionally have worked in nonprofit and in arts, and so it's my life. I was a dancer when I was younger and whatnot, but I do a lot of work with students bringing dance into educational settings. I've been doing that for a really long time. And I left my job since COVID and I'm back here. So I'd love to be doing more in Needham versus Boston, which is where I was working more. Working in Boston public schools and whatnot. So yeah, so I wanted to come today and learn more. I did review what was online, and I am very familiar with the Mass Cultural Council and have written grants to multiple programs of theirs over the years. So it just seemed like a good fit. The idea I'm thinking about is I did something with last year with the Early Learning Center students with disabilities at Sunita, which is housed at Sunita Williams School. And they would really like me to come back and do another dance and movement program, which is what we did, tied into social emotional learning. And it was fabulous. It was great. But there's no funding from the schools for it, period. End of subject, period. Like she's like, they've got nothing that they can go to for it. So I'm searching around for funding to try and bring it back to them. So that's why I'm here. Most of my basic questions, I think, were answered by reviewing the literature, which was, basically the range of grants that's helpful for crafting a successful proposal, I guess. And I think it answers in there. Would you entertain a grant for working with kids in the schools?
Yeah, that's one of our priorities, because we get a lot for the senior center. Like a lot of times, like 75% of our applications are for doing something in the senior center. So we've done programs in Pollard, not as much the elementary schools, but that would be fabulous, because I don't think we've done that as much as we could, but definitely if it benefits the kids.
Okay. Great. And then my last question, now that I'm putting some of the pieces together, is do you think that the council would consider a proposal where MCC, the STARS residencies, was funding some of it, and you might fund some of it to be able to bring it to that she would like something that would last over many weeks, and it would be bigger than you could probably fund independently. So I guess that would be my question. Could I craft something that would work along with STARS, which would be the other funder that I can think about?
Yeah, I don't know, Bala or Charlie?
Yeah, I can answer that, because I'm actually working on a STARS residency grant for my school, which is Broadmeadow, because I'm the enrichment lead over there too. So we are doing a dance program, and I think is the cap 2,000. So their grants for the STARS program, they're not huge either. So I could see why you'd want to do STARS and reach out to other groups. Is your dance program like multi-weeks? What is it that you're thinking of building? Yeah,
so what I did for them last year was movement and music, and it was they broke their the whole learning center into 3 classes. So you have to deliver the program 3 times each day, and we did it for 8 weeks. That's a costly program at the end.
That's a long, so that's 24.
Yeah, exactly.
Classes? Okay, so that's a longer term project.
Yeah, so
the only other thing I was thinking is, have you ever talked to Maggie at the Needham Education Foundation too?
Well, that's who funded it last year, was NEF.
Okay.
But you can't return to NEF for any repeat programming, which, despite it being a very good grant criteria, part of their policy making, it's hard, for the schools, because there's just no resources at the schools. So.
Right. Yeah. Because our top grant is usually about $500. Right. So it's not a lot for 24 classes.
Yeah. I think that after learning that, which is why I wondered if, because they, the kindergarten would like it as well, and they didn't have it last year. So I'm really trying to get creative and think about how I can give them as much as they want, or as much as
more than one funding source is a great idea. Gayle, do you see any reason why you couldn't apply for the MCC START and us for 2 different programs? So it's fine with us.
Yeah, they usually say, like, you say in the application where else you're asking for funding, but a lot of people piece them together from multiple places. Even some try to get, if it does benefit more towns, some people will say, I applied to these 20 local councils, but if it's specifically in a Needham school, you can always piece things together. It's a struggle, but
that's great.
That's the arts funding the arts are a struggle. That's why we're here.
So hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if there are other areas. It sounds like an amazing project. I don't see any problems funding it from our side. Have you ever looked at any of the disability organizations as well that
Yeah, I did. I actually emailed with them as well, the Needham Commission. A little similarly, it's kind of that cap is around that, and they prefer like to purchase something that changes something, or I don't think they would be against hearing a proposal like this, but I also not sure. Maybe together though, maybe
Great.
That might be an option.
Yeah, and feel free to reach out with follow-up questions, but it sounds
okay.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. I will. And if offline, Charlie, I'd love to hear about what you're doing with stars at Broadmeadow. So maybe I'll just email you on that.
Sounds great.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Jessica.
I think Jessica is here watching us because she is going to be doing a story for us for the grants. So she is going to be interviewing Bala and myself, and if anybody else wants to talk, or some artists in the past that have actually received grants, so we can get something on the Needham channel, because we've done a little press on the grants so far. Did you guys see it in the Needham Times? Probably not.
I don't get the Needham Times.
Maybe the only one that gets the Needham Times anymore, but it was in the Needham Times and the News You Needham, our great newsletter. We sent it on Facebook. There was 1,000 engagements so far, or 1,000, whatever. So it got around on Facebook, but we need to share as much as possible to get the word out. But John Lechner, I met at last week. We had the Needham Art Association and Gorse Mills had a wonderful event at Gorse Mills. I think you guys got a flyer for it. And it was amazing because it was one of the first times where multiple organizations in Needham supporting the arts came together at sort of a meet and greet and said hello. And I made an announcement about the grants and talked to John because I've seen his work in open studios for a long time. He's a really talented artist. So I encouraged him to come visit us today. So John, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
And I met John when he had just written his first book, which I have still, and read to my kids who are now in their 20s. Not aging you or anything, John, but love your artwork, love Froggy, big fan.
Yeah, will you tell the whole council about the kind of work that you do? It's fascinating.
Yeah, I kind of jump around. I'm an author and illustrator. I've done 4 picture books. Mostly, they're kind of like fables, animal stories, a little bit of humor, adventure. I'm also a puppeteer. I've done puppet shows for parties and libraries, and I'm a filmmaker, animator. I work with a company called Fable Vision in Boston, doing educational software, videos. So, and I've done school programs. I've visited schools. I've talked to kids about books and drawing and animation and all sorts of things. So I'm kind of trying to think of like where to channel my energies in terms of like what would be what would be the most useful, beneficial, interesting, inspiring kind of project I could apply for.
And I was telling John when I bumped into him, I love puppet shows. There's a lot of live theater, and we did a survey. I don't know if I told you this. The council reached out we did like just a mega survey, and we got about 50 respondents, but there was definitely a lot of interest in live coming back. I think after the virus, everyone's stuck in their houses for a year. It seemed like a lot of people wanted to get out and see live things outside again. So that there was definitely a request for that. But did anybody else have ideas on what kinds of things John could work on that we would totally be into funding?
I have a question about the live performances because so much is uncertain now in the immediate future. Like if I were to propose like a live something or other in the spring or summer, and then suddenly there's a 3rd or 4th wave of pandemic, is there a way to like, I don't know, work around that and shift away from live if that happens?
Gayle, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's an excellent question. So, which is why we added that last bullet about applicants suffering because of the economic impact. So I would say, I don't know the exact number of our grantees last year, A few of them actually came close to doing their live event and had to cancel. Some of them had to move it offline, online. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's great if you can arrange it so that you could do it on Zoom and still have it. But there's also money that goes into producing and getting ready for some type of show. And we do fund that as well. One great example is we provided a grant to the Open Studios last May, which, as you know, did not happen. It didn't happen the last 2 Mays. But there was still expensive. The brochures were printed and still had to be taken care of. And so the council has allowed us, the Mass Cultural Council has said that expenses occurred even if the event doesn't happen, still count. And one of the unique things about the grants, so technically we're still in a pilot program, but we've been doing it about 5 years now, is it used to be you applied for a grant, you were allocated, you were awarded a grant for a certain amount of money, and then we did not send you the money until you gave us an invoice or proof of payment. What we do now is as soon as you give us your tax information, we pre-fund all of the grant events. So say you're given $250, we would send you a check for $250. And all we ask afterwards is say, yes, I held the event, here's what happened, either live or online, or I built this sculpture in the middle of Needham and everybody's enjoying it, that kind of thing. So because of the pandemic, there's an understanding that there's expenses incurred, even if you have to cancel. Although we do, I'm sure you like to perform even if you can, even if you do it remote, things like that. But yeah, there's definitely allowances for that. And you can also delay it.
Yeah, delayed, and people converted it or recorded it, and like the Needham channel was awesome and would play things. So if it was like a film, you know, if you're playing it on the Needham channel, that has public benefit to Needham. If you're doing a virtual performance that's, you know, advertised in Needham, that's has public benefit. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, but the easy answer is we generally don't ask for the money back, because usually that money is spent by the artist. So you wouldn't be on the hook if the world happens, basically.
I have one more related question. If I had a proposal to do something with a school, would I need to talk to that school and sort of line things up with them before I apply for a grant so that I know that like it's going to happen?
I think we're flexible about that. In last year, even I think we funded something that didn't have a school assigned, and then they ended up doing it at middle school. And
we found them a school.
Yeah, we found them a school, so we can help with that too. So yeah, you don't have to have a venue or an agreement with a partner. It's always better, but it's not necessary anymore.
I think the library is also a very good option to have events. I recently went yesterday, actually. I went, they had a magic show for little kids and it was a huge hit. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if was that an MCC, because I've seen that show traveling around to a lot of the libraries. So
I don't think it, yeah, I don't think it is, but yeah. But that definitely is an option for a venue.
And they're thrilled to have any program they can get now that they're open to the public.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks.
John, thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
I can't wait to see what you come up with. What's awesome about the system too is that we can see as you're drafting it too. So if you have any questions along the way, you can call or email us and we can look at your grant and give you give you advice if you have questions or you don't know how to fill something out.
Sure.
If it's tricky. Yeah. Thanks. But you're a man of many talents and many hats. Grant writing, I'm sure, is one of them. Right? Thanks, John. So I think that's everybody that came. Are there any other questions about the grants, or Gayle, do you have any other fireworks you want to confetti?
No, I just tell your friends. Like I know that you know, the more diverse the proposals. I mean, we have the funding from MCC. We actually have a little extra funding as well that we might bring in. And we just really enjoy partnering with anybody in the arts, and that definition is very different for everybody. So definitely, you know, John, I know your studios and Goris Mills, and we don't get very many applications from the different artists. And don't feel like you're competing, like there's money, but definitely tell your friends, tell your neighbors. If you follow the Needham Council for Arts and Culture, sorry, I really have a hard time saying, just NCAC web Facebook page, feel free to share our posts on your personal page and spread it wide and let everybody know. So anybody else on the council have anything to share with
I think
us?
Valerie's got her hand up in that cool little
Oh, she does.
Yeah.
Just a quick comment. John, I just want to say you would never remember me, but I did meet you somewhere quite a while through one of the Young Audiences events, I think, at a school. And I remember talking at length, and I forgot that you actually lived here, but I would love to talk with you offline too. And I love to collaborate with a lot of the movement work I do is connected to literature and books. I like to make that connection a lot. So I don't know, maybe we could talk about something. Maybe we could collaborate on something sometime. So, and I'm loving the idea that you also all of you just talked about the library. I really had kind of forgotten in my head that maybe I could bring some movement if the school thing's too complicated or whatever. I think kids with disabilities are always looking for a place to do movement and activities when it's hard for them to go to a dance studio. Sometimes it may be a library program. So who knows what I'll come up with. But.
Yeah, the school, it's interesting you brought that up, Valerie, because the schools I'm the enrichment lead for second grade at our school, and each school has a different lead for every single class, every single year for all the schools. So there's not like one, it changes so much, which is really hard. I know Bala was the PTC chair of Pollard, and
yeah, it's definitely a little bit more complicated working with the school system. You have to coordinate with the principals and the committee members. So yeah.
Do you all know by chance that about 10 years ago and for about 5 years, we had something called the NCAC, which was the Needham Creative Arts Council?
Yep, I do remember that.
Okay, so we had to represent every creative arts person at each elementary school. We served together on a town-wide group as well. It's defunct now. It kind of ended, but it was wonderful. It kind of
folded into what became the Needham Cultural Council, and then we changed it to NCAC. But yeah.
Oh, so yeah, you're the extension of the
fund. That's where some of our funds actually came from way back when.
Huh. Okay, so I saw it as it came from there was a representative from each of the elementary schools, and then we pooled our funds. We would write a grant to the NEF each year. We would ensure that the schools were having like equity across each school, because like Broadmeadow, as you say, has all this enrichment work and people actually working on the projects, while there was like another school where maybe they didn't have someone dedicated to bringing in lots of arts and culture. So we would get together and try and make sure that we would support each other for our individual schools, but also write some what we called town-wide grants so that everybody in the town would get those same grants at the school, all school-based. It was really cool. I'm sorry it went away.
That's awesome. I've never heard that before.
Yep. Yeah,
that really folded into the cultural council.
Yeah, you have to ask Beth. So Beth gave us the whole history one night at one of our meetings and how it started out. And I remember because Needham Community Theater was part of it like way back when. And then
is that Needham Arts?
I don't think so.
No, it was, it kind of,
yeah,
I don't know.
We might be talking about two different things, but I'm not sure.
We might be. We might be. But there were various arts groups that had different representation.
That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Thanks for letting us know about it.
They just weren't, when you graduate out of your elementary school because your kids grow up and then there aren't the right people to just keep it going or whatever. It just didn't, but anyway, thank you. This has been a pleasure meeting everybody.
Yeah, nice to meet you. And what Gayle said, everybody on the council should be reaching out to their people and reaching out to the school, whatever, if you have kids in school or what other groups. I've added a few groups. I tried to do a little research in town by adding some of the groups we'd mentioned, the Equal Justice group and some of the newer ones, to try to broaden our reach, make sure everybody knows about the funding, but word of mouth is also good. So thank you guys. So now we get to move on.
Oh, you're muted. You hit mute button.
Sorry. I don't know why I muted myself in the middle of it. So John and Valerie and Jessica, thanks for coming. We're going to move on to the exciting regular meeting parts, but it shouldn't be too long. Julia, you want to do the past minutes?
Yeah.
Did Sam ever join in? Because she mentioned to me earlier that there was on the bottom of the agenda, it said there was a remote meeting and this meeting was supposed to be in person originally. So on the minutes, will you change it to remote? So we have that.
Gotcha.
It was like the bottom chart, but sorry, go ahead, take over.
Yeah, so Carly sent around the minutes earlier today. I'm not sure if folks had a chance to review. Yes. Any questions? Does someone want to move to
we accept
them?
Minutes? Anyone want to second it? Just anyone. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Excellent, thank you. All right.
Do we have to do a roll call for that, or does anybody have questions? No.
I don't think we have to
do
a roll call as long as, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Cool.
All right, so Bala and I were up for a public art update. Our boxes are finished. Joni isn't able to be here today. She was going to give us some more background on the murals. That's the one project we're working on. She's doing, putting a list together of artists, potential artists for a mural. Amy was still working on the location. And the third part of that is writing like a one-page description. And then Bala, Jersey Barriers, you want to do that wrap up?
Yeah, I think we are done with the Jersey Barrier project, and Heather and I were working on the ponchos barrier, and we are finally done. We can call it, a wrap. Yeah, I don't know if any of you had a chance to drive by, but if not, please do so and let us know what you think. I feel like it's come out really beautiful and it's very colorful and vibrant. I've heard great things. I'm yet to go back and take some nice pictures of posing next to it, but it's just been a rainy summer. This was a challenge sort of going back and finishing up some of the detailing on that, but I believe that was the last of our barriers, right, Charlie? Was there any that we...
Yeah, that's the last of them, but there sure seems to be a lot more, and there's a public comment period open right now to see how long those babies will stay up, so maybe there's a future for more barriers. There's a little bit of paint left, right?
Yes.
Well, no, I think the poncho is terrific, and it's right near Town Hall too.
It is, yes.
Perhaps the people that need to notice what we're doing, notice it. It's really... I have a question. Where is this third art box? I'm not sure I know.
The third one was the Save the Bees. So the first was
Well,
and
It's on the corner of Central and Great Plain Avenue.
What's the name of that church?
Sorry,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not. Yeah, it is
No,
Central.
you were right.
The
Yeah,
Presbyterian Church.
Yeah, that's the Central and Great Plain.
I pass it all the time. That one I see more than any other one.
Now, I know.
and Heather, did you send out the letter to Stacy thanking her for all the paint and stuff?
I did. I delivered it yesterday in a packet. I printed all the pictures, and then I hand wrote her a little thank you note. So
Heather's stenciling work was amazing, and she literally sort of replicated some of the tile work, and the design was really awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So for marketing, it's just Julia and I are working on the banner for the town fair, and we did some PR for the grants, and an amazing little announcement. So forward that around, and the PR is actually on our website if you need to share that with people to let them know about the grants. Yeah, do you have anything else to add, Julia? Marketing update? No.
I think that's everything.
Okay. Are we going to do something about, I mean, are we, I know there was sort of an announcement on the previous barriers that were completed. Are we doing like sort of a write-up on everything that was done, the pictures or anything like in this?
Yeah, we never really did a press release on the ponchos one. Did we get any news coverage on that one at all?
No. Not that I remember. Might be worthwhile though, now that that's wrapped up, maybe we could do something that reflects back on everything and
yeah,
then like that.
Yeah, it would be good marketing, just to say.
Yeah, and we were talking about the website a little bit too, right? About updating that. Did you want to talk about that? Because we definitely could use some pictures there.
Yeah, I know this was a while ago when we synced Charlie, so please refresh my memory. But I feel like, I don't know how many of you actually use the website, but the website definitely needs some work. Like it's really hard to navigate and find the right information. It feels like the cultural council section is sort of buried in there. I always have to sort of go and search to come to that section. So I don't know if we have someone who can help with the website, or do we need to find volunteers? But you know, I'm happy to partner.
Yeah, well, the town is redoing the website. Cindy's going through, the PIO is going through a huge process, and there's public meetings that are happening. If you haven't seen the posting for those, definitely you can attend them and give advice. They're doing a Civic Plus is the platform they use, and they're doing a revamp of it. But there's a lot of opportunity for comment and advice on what could happen in the future.
Maybe just send email advice versus attending in person in those meetings? I'm just curious because I don't know if I can actually attend.
I think you could probably have your own meeting with Cindy. She's very easy to talk to and figure out what it is that we would need. At one point we talked about maybe a calendar, like an arts calendar would be awesome. And that was something our survey came up with.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be good to have like all the events that are happening or upcoming events in a calendar format once we go to the website.
Yeah, it had been pursued in the past and wasn't really, the calendar on the town's website as it is wasn't really functional for searching. So that was kind of a dead end, but as they revamp it for the needs, like in the far future, it'd be great to let her know what our needs are. And Amy did a great job just updating some of the old language on it as it is and putting our new press release on it and what the limits are of the site itself.
Elizabeth has her hands raised.
Yeah, I do have my hand raised. I was going to raise hand, but anyway. About marketing and about the barriers. I think, you know, certainly one of the hooks could be the economic benefits to Needham. And I'm sure Amy could tie it together with the restaurants and how well they've done with outdoor dining. Instead of just straightforward about the paintings, which are fabulous, but I mean, to tie it together with economic benefit seems to be, and I'm sure that the owners of the French bakery and Poncho would attest that more people stop by.
Yeah, I've definitely been like doing some canvassing and asking people to go.
Absolutely. And it also ties in the fact that at town meeting coming up on October 25th, there will be a warrant article to make changes to the zoning to allow for permanent outside dining. Because right now the outside dining on public space is only allowed through the governor's executive order, which ends April 1st, 2022. So we've been actually working behind the scenes for many months discussing all of the things that need to happen in order to allow for permanent outside dining. So it'd be very timely to bring attention to not only how vibrant the downtown looks with people dining, but how fantastic, the painted barriers are, and NCAC's efforts
and the
volunteers.
collaboration of the different parts of the town.
Yes.
There's a lot to be said for that.
That's a great point, Elizabeth. Thanks for bringing that up.
And where do you guys see that going out for the audience?
Well, any place that picks up, Needham Times or whatever these other newspapers are, I don't know. I only see the Needham Times, which everybody seems to not see.
I think the more the better, wherever we can put it out there.
Bala, you want to do the advocacy update too?
Yeah.
That's the next thing. And then.
Yeah, that will be quick. We actually don't have a lot of update there because the last update was from, I believe, in August, which we talked about in the last meeting. Just that the total amount that we have allocated that the state has invested in the cultural sector, which was 29 million, and the opportunity to use that grant funding townwide. I don't think there's much of an update there. Did you hear anything in the meeting?
No, I think it's just mostly still trying to advocate from the state for 575 million for arts and culture. And just, I think the legislators are listening at the moment because that 5.3 billion from ARPA, the federal funding, is coming to the state and how that should be allocated. And so this is the time to talk to your legislators about RARA, arts and culture. And I think there are a lot of different legislators coming up with plans on how that should be spent. I did read something about arts and cultural WPA programs. So like starting public art, just like back in the 30s, starting WPA programs, works progress, getting artists to paint murals all over again, like it's the 1930s, hiring artists to do work in that way, which I thought was really kind of a cool way to get artists back to work. So I think it's just advocating to your legislators personally at this point.
Charlie, Bala, can I just add something in? So speaking of advocating, we are actually at the very beginning process of talking about the town budget for fiscal year 23, which starts July 1st. So I know there had been some discussion in the past of putting together potentially a proposal for asking for funding from the town, the operating budget from the town, for the NCAC to supplement what you get from the Mass Cultural Council. So that would be decided on next spring's town meeting, which would presumably allow the NCAC to have those funds next fall. So to increase the resources to give out for grants. So just throwing it out there, again, we're at the very beginning stages, but want to at least plant that seed to have everybody start thinking about it.
I have something drafted. Bala, maybe you could review it. And I've asked a couple organizations in town to give us quotes in support of us. There was the Mass Cultural Council kind of has a municipal funding guideline proposal. So I kind of followed what they suggested to do when you're asking for municipal funding. And I have that in a document. So if anybody wants to help edit it, let me know, or have other groups that want to weigh in on that, that would be awesome. Yay, that would be great. So what's the deadline on that, Amy?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Is there a deadline on that, or?
I will get back to you on that. I believe that I have to submit requests on behalf of the Office of Town Manager. So this would sort of fall under that umbrella. I believe it's the end of October, early November, but let me double check on that and I'll circle back with you.
Charlie, I have a question. A couple of years ago, when I first joined the council, there was a whole lot of conversation about our participation in Christmas events or holidays, whatever, looking for money. Do you remember those times? Is there some way where we could formalize some of the town events that we subsidize through arts and culture?
Yeah, I would say that you're looking at the economic development director who is now in charge of all of those events. So it was the Winter Arts Festival, and we did crafts for the Needham Lights. So those were the two holiday festivals that we helped support. The Winter Arts Festival, we donated $300 and some volunteer time since I've been on, and the Needham Lights, we just did the craft. I don't know if those will, I don't think the Winter Arts Festival is happening. I did just meet the two past chairs from the Needham Cultural Council recently, and they said there was also a Spring Arts Festival, which I didn't know about, which happened for many years. Those are
at one point there was. So there will not be a Winter Arts Festival this fall, in large part due to the fact that we don't know what the fall is going to look like as far as public gatherings. There will be a blue tree lighting. I can't tell you right at this moment what that's going to look like. Last year there was no event. This year we're hopeful that there will be outdoor kinds of festivities, but there will very likely not be indoor kind of celebrations as there has in the past. So this is also going to give us an opportunity to sort of take sort of inventory of what has been done in the past and put together objectives and criteria of what the town events could look like. So certainly I'll be looking to get input from all of you. But
at our last meeting, there was a lot of discussion about a festival after COVID, a big arts festival that seemed to have some traction from a lot of the members in the council. And as I've talked to other people in the community, there seems to be a lot of head nodding around that as well. Needham Open Studios and the Art Association, they all seem very interested in that. If you guys didn't go on Saturday, Amy was integral in helping the Needham Open Studios actually have a Needham Open Studios, which was on Saturday at the town hall. And there are 14 different tables. It was really well attended. They did very well. The public came out to see them, and they threw that together very quickly.
Yeah, I went this weekend.
Did you see it? And
yeah, I bought stuff.
John Lechner was giving out pizza there from Hearth donated. There was a lot of donations. I think they sold a lot of work, which was awesome.
Yeah, I was talking to the artists and they did very well. It was a beautiful day, and they all.
Yeah, they reached out and asked about music too. So we were trying to help them find some music. They had some live music. So good job on that one, Amy. But if there is the other tidbit about the Spring Arts Festival is that I guess there was always a weird timing thing. June was too late. They've done it. It was freezing cold the last time they did it, so they never wanted to do it again. No one showed up. It was all this work for a freezing cold event. So I think that was why it never happened.
Yeah, and I am Naomi Wilsey, who was the representative organizing Needham Open Studios. I had a great conversation with her, and we said let's keep the dialogue going about having sort of a comprehensive arts and cultural kind of event. So just as an aside, I did put together a proposal or an outline of how the ARPA funding could be used under the umbrella of economic development, and I did put in a request for some money to be earmarked for a townwide arts and cultural festival. So again, TBD as far as when that would happen. So let's see if the funding comes through first before we worry about that. But we'd certainly want to have it be a collaborative kind of effort in involving every kind of arts and cultural organization in town. So
yeah, I just want to speak to having had a lot of experience in managing cultural aspects of the city of Boston, that you want to have built-in collaborations. Like I know my office took over the parades because parades were very popular with a certain segment of the city of Boston where the ballet was popular with other segments. So there's something politically to be said for making sure that it's written somewhere, the collaboration, if economic development starts running arts festivals. Am I being naive or how things work? I just, as these things grow, and I think this whole operation is growing, you want to make sure you're linked in the right way.
Absolutely.
You're muted, Charlie.
Oh, thanks for that comment, Elizabeth. Going to that the Needham Art Association Gorse Mills event, that there definitely seemed to be an energy to collaborate, and that was the first time I'd ever seen that. So the Needham Art Association did reach out to me today, and they want to apply for a grant, and they haven't applied for a grant since 2012, which seems like a long time to have not done that. So they actually, I wanted all of your advice. There was 2 suggestions. They do demonstrations at the library and around town. So that was one idea they could write a grant for. Or their other idea is they make 1,500 pieces of art that they give out during the holiday time. And that would be the other thing they could grant for.
Wow, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Is one of those raise your hand if
the second one sounds really exciting.
The artwork, the actual artwork, is that, raise your hand.
Who do they give it out to?
Yeah,
Who
so
do they
how
give out the artwork to?
Center on, they partner with like it seemed like there was more partners on that one. So like I think it's the Community Council and the Center on Aging. So it's, yeah, those 2 partners.
Do they gift the artwork to people or they give it to people for a fundraiser?
Gift.
They gift the artwork, okay.
It reminded me, Anne, of what you did with the artwork for the Thanksgiving bags. And
okay. So
what
like
was the partner? What was the partner for that again?
That was the Thanksgiving bags are like Rotary plus
the
Community Council and things. Yeah, they approached me because I did it once through Mitchell School, but then we did it like last year, I guess. Or, yeah. So
it sounded similar to that. So so does that excite people more than the hiring the artists to do art?
You know, I always read about those demonstrations and some of them sound really cool. I've never gone to one, but I like both. I mean, I like that they do the demonstrations because that's also,
yeah,
I don't know.
I've been to some like many years ago in the library. Yeah, and that's been great. It was really good. But I've never seen this other one with like 1,500 is a lot of artwork. So I'm curious how to see what that is too.
It seems like it would have a broader impact, which is what sounds really great to me.
Right.
Yeah, one of them is a one-time event and the other is throughout the year. So that's the only difference.
Oh, okay.
Like there's more than one artist demonstration throughout the year. I don't know exactly the frequency, but
I like the idea of people getting something physical. It's rare that some of the things we sponsor that they walk away with something. So I kind of like that. But I mean, both are definitely good ideas.
Okay.
But that was just what attracted me to it is people having something physical to represent art. And we could put little stickers on the back. Sponsored by.
All right, I'll let them know. So we're in the other.
Just remember, let's not promise any grants yet.
I'll let them know that either one fits into our I don't know what the word is. It fits. So the other business section is we have to discuss the town fair. So town fair, October 3rd from noon to 4. We, because we're a town committee, we can have a table. We talked about doing that. I sent a link in the email today, a sign up genius, so we can get enough people to sign up to volunteer. By a show of hands, is anybody, raise your hand if you think you'll be able to volunteer for a slot on October 3rd. Okay, we got 3. Okay.
That's a Sunday, right?
How long are the slots?
They're about, I mean, they're an hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah, I could do it.
It's a Sunday, yep.
I will be out of town.
So at least I think I put
Let me just see
3
what
slots. I did 3 slots. So if we at least have 3 people, I think it's doable. So it'd be better to have, the more we have, the less hours you have to do. I think I did an hour and a half to set up, an hour and a half for cleanup, and a 2 hour in the middle, which could be split an hour if we have 4 people. See if it works in your schedule and check it out. We kind of got to talk about what we would do at it. Heather, did you have a question? Did I see you had a quick, okay, so we, Julia's working on a logo. Hopefully we'll have a banner for the table done in time. And then maybe we can make a flyer, Julia. I have some stuff that we could probably quickly turn over from that last time.
We might have stuff. Kristen might have chalk that we gave away. Yeah, that had our little, that had, the Cultural Council logo on it, but we had these little boxes of chalk, and then I put up a big chalkboard that kids are writing their names on.
Yeah. I was thinking of doing a little craft project. I had 2 kind of ideas in mind, simple, that we could pull together. Either buying little pumpkins and having them draw on them with like a Sharpie, or I have another project where you just take clementines and you put little cloves in them. It's like two ingredient things, and that they can take away. I don't know, whatever is cheaper or easier. And then a mailing list sign up. Last time we did a mailing list sign up with a raffle. We only got like 25, so I'm not really sure it was worth it. But just I think it's about having our face there and something to just engage with. Anybody else got ideas for that?
Charlie, I wanted to mention that there will be pumpkins at the event. One of the local real estate agencies, I think it's Louise Condon, is donating pumpkins. So
she usually does that.
That's cool.
So if you had, just throwing out there, maybe stuff to actually, for the kids to decorate those pumpkins, whether it's like, stickers or, the kind of the foam stickers that you can get at or whatever, or pom-poms or whatever, markers, that kind of stuff. Just FYI.
That's a good idea.
Amy, are we limited to what we can bring? Like, are there any restrictions?
Like can we bring clementines?
Well, how do you feel about glitter?
It's outside.
Just saying.
I love Heather's like, no glitter. Heather just finished a summer camp. An art summer camp, right? You're like, no glitter.
She knows. What about these scratch cards, like where you make art? I just got this from a birthday party as a favor, and my kids love it.
Those are awesome. Are they expensive? Do you know, Bella?
I can find out. I don't think so. Like one box has like 10 of these sheets, and then you just keep them out there.
Yeah, that's super easy too. The other craft I did last week at a block party was just rocks. You just color on rocks.
Yeah, those are
super easiest thing ever. But I stole it from the Needham Art Association. They did it at their event. Okay, so we'll come up with a little craft. Maybe we can bang heads together when I see who fills up the sign up genius, something super simple. And I think that's all we really need for it. A candy. People usually give away candy, right? And that's what was the bigger winner.
I think people just donated. I think we did the sign up genius for candy too. Like, I think people dropped bags of candy at my house and I just brought it down there if they couldn't make it or something. But yeah, we went through a few bags of candy.
I feel like that's what the town fair was always about, like finding the tables with candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
For sure.
Or the giveaways. My kids used to like the string bags or the bags or the little.
Yeah, there's a lot of like pens and lip gloss and stuff that,
So would people be really disappointed by clementines then?
I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of hand sanitizer given out.
Right.
Okay. Well, okay, we'll come. I like the scratch paper. That sounds
good. How about masks?
Sure.
Color your own mask.
Color your own mask. I like that.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
They wear them the kids wear them every day.
The kids do. I mean, we could think about it. I've seen it somewhere, the fabric markers or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, where you color your own mask?
Yeah. It might be kind of fun.
That's a cool idea. Okay, I'll look. Would you buy the masks in bulk?
Would
fabric markers?
Is Rafi Nova, would they donate? Oh, no way. Too expensive.
Not theirs, but like you
They're
can
too
buy
nice.
You can get a
the
box
cloth
of
Amazon
50
ones.
Oh, like paper masks.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about those. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just wondering
But
if
that wouldn't that be
the integrity of the paper
Yeah,
mask.
doctor, did we just ruin the filter by putting?
Yeah, I'm worried about drawing on it is not going to make it a functional mask.
Yeah, and the paper one, yeah.
Yeah.
On the mask.
And and it would have to be a double layered cloth one if it's really going to be wearable.
Yeah, those are expensive. Although sometimes they put them over the paper ones.
Oh, you're right.
I think you could do paper ones with crayons or something that's not going to destroy it. We could try.
But then they're just going to get
glitter them
because they're not going to want to wear like a nice little mask.
All right, we'll come up. Whoever signs up,
get like a cheap double layered material one, and then get. I mean, Sharpies would probably be fine. You just have to wash it or whatever. But fabric markers or something. But
yeah,
it's a cute idea because then people will be wearing them around and be like, "Where'd you get that?"
Yeah,
and we get
better
some
than actually buying logoed masks.
Well, you don't.
That's what I was gonna ask. Are people gonna actually wear them around? Like, I've gotten a lot of free masks over the last year and a half, and I have the ones that I bought myself and I like to use, but that might just be a me thing.
Yeah, I agree. I wear the ones I particularly like.
I'm just using the use and throw ones, so yeah, I don't have.
I'm thinking of the kids, if they draw.
Yeah.
I mean, the kids are wearing them all day long in school, but we also could make some cool artsy ones that we kind of hang on the tent or where we have on or some, that we're not that we're wearing them outdoors, but I don't know.
People are tie-dyeing them. I went to a fair this past weekend and they were doing that thing where you like sun dye them, like you lay them up and.
Yeah, tie-dyeing is all great now. For everything.
That sun dyeing stuff, you can that would be complicated, but you can make any fabric sun sensitive with by washing stuff on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she does. It was really cool art at the festival I went to this weekend. Anyway, we digress.
Do I hear anybody volunteering to lead a mastercraft project?
No, we just have great ideas.
Like to. Great. Okay, moving on.
If I had time, I would love to, but I'm not me.
Okay, we're moving on from that one then. Okay, the last thing on the agenda, and then we can all go, is November 16th is our next meeting. It's going to be virtual, and before that, we should have the panel books, which is crazy. So we won't be seeing each other for 2 months. So the panel books, the deadline will close October 15th. Hopefully the panel books will be out by November 1st. You'll get your assignment via email from someone on the executive team here. So Bala or myself or Julia or Sam. And what your job is going to be, this will be in the email, as to, number 1, read the application. You should either have 2 or 3, depending on how many we get this year. So read the full application, check out the website for the group, think about whether you want to recommend them for funding, and 4, come up with any other questions you might have. And then we'll come together and we'll discuss them preliminarily. And then if other questions come up that you, maybe we'll answer your question, someone else in the group will answer your questions, or maybe you'll come up with more questions. And then at that point you can contact the artist. I mean, you could contact the applicant beforehand if you want, but this gives us more time. It's an extra meeting to kind of discuss any questions you might have. And then
weren't you redoing the form, Charlie?
And then Julia's going to be working on the form for the actual voting portion of that. And then the voting meeting will be December 14th. Somewhere in between.
Good to have the form before the November 15th.
Yeah, I'll get that done in the next few weeks and send that out.
Yeah, it sounds like you had some great ideas there, Julia. So
thank goodness, Julia.
I did have one other agenda item that I forgot to add when you sent it out. is a meeting on the calendar for the annual report? For you and Sam?
Oh, sorry, for Sam. Sam and Michelle Valancourt and I are meeting on October 5th.
Okay, great.
For the financial, and we will be doing, yes, submitting the financial documents. For
because we need to put the other account money in there too. So we have the total amount of money that we have to give for grants.
Yes, which I think is going to be $8,050 or quite around there.
We had more, didn't we have more in that other account?
Well, I guess we had like meeting with Michelle. I think that's the amount. But
yeah. Anyway, you'll tell us how much we have. That's fine.
Yeah. Cool. Any other questions before we adjourn? Yay! Thanks for Gayle, and thank you for doing that, leading that portion. That was a big deal for us to actually have some artists show up.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody showed up.
Zero, and it was not. So that was something we've never done with the council before. So I'm glad we did that. You guys have a great night. We won't see you all until the town fair. Please show up if you can, and see you November 16th.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.